Hi, my friends. Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather, and it is a Friday. The weekend is upon us. I hope you're doing well. A lot to get into in this video, including talking about the National Hurricane Center beginning their tropical outlooks for the season. So we'll take a look at that and get into the forecast for today and the weekend ahead. As always, love to hear from you guys. Let me know what's been happening in your area, what the weather has been like. I welcome everyone again to the new Meteo Mundo. A lot more information on your screen. On the left-hand side is going to be the big weather headlines I'll cover in today's daily forecast video. The bottom of your screen, scrolling impactful weather across your area. This will be all watches, warnings, advisories, and marine statements that'll be across our area. And you'll notice the thumbnail for today. I welcome all of our boaters, our sailboaters, our fishermen, our cruise enthusiasts, anyone who has marine interest. There's a lot more information for you contained in these videos, including the 2-day marine forecast for over 25 cities coming up in the second half of the video. Right now, you're seeing the 5-day forecast for over 45 cities in our area scrolling. Again, you got questions about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. I'll cover in more detail some of those in a minute. We're going to start off the video for today with me pushing that button back on and then getting into our headlines, which starts with the northwest area stormy yet again. Front continues to move across the area here, draped from Bermuda all the way back down towards the central Bahamas, northern sides of Cuba, and into the Yucatan Peninsula. And along this boundary, scattered showers and storms continue to develop at the hour. Now, generally, they're not as concentrated as what they were on our Thursday, but still some locally heavy downpours from the southern sides of Andros and New Providence, Nassau, through Eleuthera, and especially back over towards places like Cat Island, Exuma, Long Island, Rum Key, and San Salvador. Locally heavy downpours here. Watch out for the cloud ground lightning kicking up some sea conditions as well. My friends in the central and northern Bahamas, let me know in the comment section below if you've caught some of these thunderstorms for today. It's been drier up north and west, the Abacos, Freeport, Lucaya, Grand Bahama, and Walker's Key. The majority of the day, we're just starting to see a few thunderstorms lifting on the northern coastline of Grand Bahama and drifting towards Walker's Key, with additional thunderstorms likely across the eastern sides of Florida as well. Following the front up towards Bermuda, it's been another stormy, windy, blustery day across the island, over 40-mile-an-hour winds. The front will continue to plague the area with a special small craft warning in effect through tonight. The front clears tonight, and by tomorrow, our friends on Bermuda will be waking up to a lot more sunshine and much drier weather for the weekend ahead. Front should continue to sink off to the south and to the east. I'm not going to rule out a couple of showers with a southerly, rich, moisture-laden flow for the southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. Grand Turk today had a 30-mile-an-hour wind, but overall, the showers here have been much more localized in nature. Thunderstorms are breaking out at the hour across Cuba, still favoring the central and the northwest sides of the islands towards Cienfuegos and Matanzas and Havana, and again, locally heavy downpours there. Not going to rule out a couple of thunderstorms again later today. Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum, Merida areas. You break the heat when you get the thunderstorm activity. Not much in the way of any wind profile here. Temperatures again will continue to climb outside of the storms, where we could be punching around 100 degrees Fahrenheit for daytime highs on the western side of the Yucatan. Okay, back over to our weather headlines here. The next story is going to be the fact that some of the wind that we're going to be talking about causing some marine issues. I'm going to switch back over to the wind gusts in miles an hour. And when I expand this area out, you're going to see a lot of locations in the central and the eastern side of the Caribbean where winds have been 25, 30, even up to 40 miles an hour on this Friday. So we'll get there. I do want to continue on kind of tracking through our geography here. We'll start off with the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, still relatively dry for today. Same situation that we've seen in Jamaica locally lately, where we get a couple of showers developing in the interior, hillier sections, and then working their way off to the north and to the west. So northern and western coastline, Lucy, Montego Bay, Negril, maybe even Savlamar, better chances for a couple of showers, and you'll see that in the 5-day forecast for Jamaica when that scrolls on the bottom of your screen compared to places like Kingston, Portmore, and Spanish Town. Still a lot of dry locations there. Hopefully you guys can break some of that heat. Trying to get a few local thunderstorms to develop across Hispaniola for today. They developed in the Santo Domingo, Azua, Bani areas and have been pushing into the higher terrain right along the country border there of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. That's some high elevation. So if we do get some heavy thunderstorms there, that could push down and promote some localized flash flooding in low-lying areas. So keep that in mind. Generally speaking, it will be the southern coastline with the better chance for showers over the weekend. Started to pick up some brisk winds again for today. Rip current risk is still on the moderate side for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Hey, that's at least down from the high rip current risk we had on our Thursday. Fresh winds from Christiansted, Ponce, Fajardo, San Juan, 20 to 25 miles an hour. We've had a couple of scattered showers develop across the island. Again, this breaks the heat. Generally speaking, the rain has mainly been on the northwest sides of the area. You can see that there with a little bit more cloud covers towards Aguadilla, but the rain overall has been somewhat sparse today, and that's what I expect as well. But a couple of showers are possible in the afternoon. Some rain trying to hit St. Thomas, St. John, Road Town, towards Tortola, Virgin Gorda, and Anegada, across the U.S. and British Virgin Islands there. Otherwise, for the Eastern Caribbean, pockets of shallow moisture continue to move through. Still elevated sea conditions from time to time. You'll see that on the bottom of your screen. Many areas of the Eastern Caribbean under some kind of either swell statement or small craft advisories. Right now, it's been a pretty lovely day for Anguilla, St. Bart, Sabas, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis. Haven't had a ton of wind. Yes, there's been some fresher breezes from time to time. Temperatures aren't that bad in Fahrenheit. We're in the mid and the upper 80s in a lot of spots. A couple of areas even staying to the lower 80s for today. One area that's had some rainfall move across the island, that's Guadalupe. Notice in the afternoon hours, temperatures back down to the upper 70s there. Dominica has been warm, but a few showers moving across the island at the hour. Martinica's had a beautiful day. Same thing for St. Lucia. Scattered showers have come across Barbados. Fast-moving showers with brisk winds. Again, it's not going to stay in one area for long. Most spots will pick up less than 1/10 of an inch of rain with this, just a few millimeters here or there for the most part here. Same situation for the Grenadines, Grenada. T&T is under a yellow alert for high winds. So we freshened up the winds here across the islands. We're trying to pull in a couple of showers that are desperately needed. I haven't noted any big wind here across our reporting stations, including Port of Spain, but the eastern coastline of both islands getting the stronger, brisker, more steady winds that could be anywhere from 20 to 25 miles an hour sustained and some higher gusts. You want to really talk about some winds whipping across the ABC Islands today. Here you go, 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. Oranjestad right around a 40 mile an hour breeze. So again, you'll see in the marine forecast for the Oranjestad area, a huge cruise area and just a beautiful area to do some, exploring and some offshore activities. It's going to be a little bit elevated sea-wise. The north and eastern sides of Curacao still under that yellow alert for marine hazards there. Going to continue to monitor the situation in the southwest side of the Caribbean. Although this is nothing tropical, we still have a lot of rich moisture developing. Locally heavy downpours for Panama and Costa Rica. Still some breezy conditions, and we're going to pull that moisture north. I know I've been saying this all week long, but eventually this is going to build and bring in some better scattered shower and storm chances for places like Honduras and Roatan and Utila and Guanaja for the Bay Islands and Belize City, where the inland areas, including San Ignacio, still continue with a heat advisory there. Okay, friends, I appreciate you guys. Please send me a picture or video. Let me know in the comment section below, of course, where you're viewing from, but you want to send a picture to help tell the weather story in your area, it's mymeteomundo@gmail.com. That is going to be the easiest way to do it. All right, let's get into now a little bit more tropical talk, all right? You'll see when I bring on your marine forecast, it's going to have your updated daily water temperatures. But this is a snapshot of what's happening on May 15th. Remember, hurricane season doesn't officially start till June 1st, but several years ago, the National Hurricane Center began starting their tropical outlooks on May 15th. And the reason why is, about every other year, we pick up some kind of subtropical system at the end of May. Now, looking at current sea surface temperatures, there's a concentration of warmer water in the Western Caribbean, the Bahamas, and portions of the South Central Gulf. We're beginning to creep into that 28, 29, 29.5 degree sea surface temperatures there as far as Celsius goes, and pushing that 80-degree mark in some spots. So, could there be some supportive temperatures, sea surface temperature-wise, out west? Indeed, the rest of the Atlantic basin right now is still a little bit cooler than what we would typically see for any development of any nature, which is why in May, you're talking more about subtropical systems more than anything else. But again, we now have our tropical outlooks beginning today, so I'll continue to mention those. The Hurricane Center would clearly say today that no tropical activity is expected over the next 7 days. But that doesn't mean that there's not some activity to discuss overall, and that's the fact that we do have 2 tropical waves that are in the Atlantic basin. Now, this time of the year, we continue to see drier air impacting those, so when I show you guys the water vapor imagery, here's 1, here's 2, drier air with the Saharan dust coming in. Now, I did mention in yesterday's video, the concentration of dust is not going to be as prominent overall this weekend and early next week, but these are still too low latitude to have any big significant direct impacts to our area. When you see it on the visible satellite imagery here, our beautiful high resolution visible satellite imagery, there's still somewhat elongated troughs, and fighting that drier air to the north just allows them to have more impacts than anything into portions of the coastal sides of South America. For us, appreciably, again, could bring in a little bit more moisture to the Windward Islands, places like that towards the late sides of May. And then, of course, we watch for these fronts stalling out off of the east coast of the United States and the western Atlantic basin for signs of subtropical development, right? You get kind of a hybrid system. It's not truly tropical in nature, but areas of low pressure can form off of these decaying fronts, and that's a typical spot to watch out for late May as well. But right now, we're looking pretty good as far as that goes. So let me break down what's going to be happening for your weekend ahead. Let's plan it out together for us here. Where do I expect there to be the best chance for some rain? Now, as I do that, I'm going to bring on those marine forecasts for you guys. And again, you notice the wave heights in Oranjestad. I already mentioned max wave heights of around 8 feet. There's a lot of issues there locally across the ABC Islands with the winds. And then you go further west where the winds haven't been as significant, and you're going to see lower wave heights there. But places like Oranjestad, big harbors, right? Big ports for cruise ships and other areas. I've got over 25 locations here that will give you guys your forecast over the next 2 days, your maximum wave heights, the wave direction, and all of your tidal information. So for fishermen, that is important there. And by the way, for Jamaica, the large wave and strong wind advisory has returned for the southern offshore water. So the wind is causing some issues there. Notice sea surface temperatures again are pushing 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but in most spots they're just below that. Okay, let's take off the headlines and get into the rainfall forecast. I'm going to start off with our front, and a very interesting feature here. Again, this boundary is going to decay over the weekend, so rain chances will lower through Bermuda, the central and the northern sides of the Bahamas. Still could see some decent showers for the southeast Bahamas and a few around Turks and Caicos. The interesting thing is that the GFS model tries to elongate kind of this broad spin along that decaying boundary in the open waters of the Western Atlantic. It's a feature to monitor for early next week, not necessarily for tropical development. Again, we're a little too early for any of this, but to aid in the potential for deeper moisture in this area and better rain chances that could even build back down into Hispaniola and maybe even into the northwest sides of the Caribbean as well. So interesting feature there towards the end. You'll see that kind of broad spin with a little bit of moisture get cropped up here in about the 4 to 5 day forecast time frame that I'll be keeping a really close eye on. I think if anything else, what happens is south winds feed into that feature, and now you start to get more moisture laden air over places like Santo Domingo and Punta Cana and Lacai and Port-au-Prince, maybe on over towards Jamaica. We'll try and get more showers hopefully towards Kingston, Port Moore, Spanish Town. It's not going to be as significant, but that south wind could help out rather than it being a little bit more due out of the east. Scattered showers are likely to develop again across Cuba with a few sporadic showers over most of the Cayman Islands. Out west, still expecting our moisture to continue to build. It's still in the models where rain chances begin to improve along the coastlines of Nicaragua and Honduras, and ultimately, as we get into the northwest Caribbean, rain chances go up a little bit for San Pedro Sula, Roatan, Utila, Guanaja, Belize City, on up towards Orange Walk. Maybe, if nothing else, to break the heat. May not be a ton of rain overall, but a few more scattered showers there. I'm expecting the rainfall chances to stay on the moderate side for San Juan, and Ponce and Christiansted, St. Croix and Vieques and Culebra. Nothing extremely concentrated on a daily basis, right? But there'll be a couple of spots of locally heavy downpours. We'll take a look at the overall amount of rain that we're going to get in the next 5 days coming up. But in most spots, you're going to get less than 1/4 of an inch, right? Or just about 7-8 millimeters at best here on a daily basis. A couple of spots more than that, but not much. I do expect overall a little bit better moisture to be coming back into the Eastern Caribbean for the Antilles, right? Especially down towards the Windward Islands. So if we get pockets of rain, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada and TNT, there could be a little bit more in the way of some actual decent rainfall totals there. Now, I want to be clear, not everyone is going to get it, but the showers that are developing could be coming with a little bit more locally heavier downpours. So that's my forecast here over the next 5 days, although there will still be many dry hours and locations overall. When you go a little bit farther north on the chain, still some decent rain chances, Martinique, Dominica, and Guadeloupe on a daily basis. If you saw your 5-day forecast, a couple of places like Guadeloupe will stay with some decent rain chances, building rain chances overall. Bermuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, scattered showers and a rumble of thunder, not out of the question, but mainly just some rain for St. Bart's and Anguilla and portions of the British Virgin Islands as well. And a spot that I think, generally speaking, is going to be pretty high and dry with some breezy conditions will be the ABC Islands, but a little bit more of a south wind here could pull a few showers from the mainland back over the islands starting on Monday, and that could promote slightly better rain chances for some of those spots. But again, you know, if you don't get any rain and you live in the ABC Islands the next 5 days, don't be shocked. When we take a look at the overall rainfall totals over the next 5 days, again, you're going to see the concentration of rain here with the stalled out boundary and maybe that little feature just east of the Bahamas. Again, we'll see if it sneaks back in. Otherwise, a secondary line of wetter weather from Cuba right on through the Dominican Republic and portions of Puerto Rico, where we, again, if you look at the map here, 1 to 2+ inches of rain here. Some of that could drift a little bit farther to the south and bring in a few better shower chances towards portions of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. And again, locally heavy downpours and some flooding issues for Panama, Costa Rica, the rain beginning to move back up the coastline, but it's going to take some time. And again, looking back over here, we'll see if some of this richer moisture can get back into the Windward Islands. Otherwise, you're looking at probably 1/4 to 1/2 inch in most spots. And there's some of the, again, potential heavier rainfall for Guadeloupe, Dominica, and Martinique as we get into the weekend and early next week. Now, for my boaters, again, fresher winds here, large wave, strong wind advisory for Jamaica, getting into the southwest side of the Caribbean. Northwest sides could pick up a little bit more wave action towards the Bay Islands. Not bad in the exposed waters of the Atlantic until the next cold front comes in here at about a week and a half time, and that could spell some really strong winds. And again, these fronts in late May always have that opportunity for that subtropical development as they stall out. Otherwise, I do expect our fresh easterlies to continue through most of the eastern side of our area. So again, recapping what I expect to see over the weekend. Let me go back out to the broad perspective. This front continues to bring thunderstorms from Bermuda back down towards the Bahamas and Cuba. It'll be stalling out. Locally heavy rainfall could still develop there, but overall, the rain chances begin to diminish. Fresh winds in our eastern areas, the ABC Islands, even towards Jamaica, and still mainly hot and dry out towards the west. Friends, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for taking a quick second to hit that like button and subscribing if you haven't as of yet. Again, I appreciate all of the kind comments since we've been back on with all of the new information that we're providing for you guys. And I know you guys have really, taken to that, and we appreciate that. But clicking that subscribe button and liking helps us out more than you know. So please do so. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon back here with your latest forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Until then, take care.